Hello and welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley, and we are going to continue our little series of classes at this particular time by learning vocabulary related to talking about education. Today our focus will be on after high school further education, secondary education, we might say. Okay, we're going to be doing a mix of fill in the blank and mix and match exercises as well as discussion. I'll be talking about some of these points with you, and not only will we look at some actual core vocabulary words, we're going to be looking at a lot of collocations, verbs, and sentence structure used when we talk about further education. Okay, so hello, Diego. Welcome to the
Hello,
class.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Good.
Great.
Fine.
Great. Glad to hear it. Okie doke. Well, for viewers out there, plenty of room in the class. Jump in anytime. Doesn't really matter when you jump in. Because we're going to get started. Well, let's do it. All right. I'm going to screen share something with you, and we're going to do some exercises here. Okay. After school. Okay, when you graduate high school, we're talking about here. We're going to use these verbs up top. Some are phrasal verbs, stay on, got in. Some are other verbs. Very simply, what I would like you to do, Diego, just read this sentence and fill in the blank when you find the appropriate verb.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
When I got to 16, some of my friends, I complete in this sentence.
Yeah, go ahead. It's a long one, but, well, you were the only one here. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Stay on.
Well, look at of course, look at the rest of the sentence. Stayed on school to get jobs. That's
Okay.
not quite right. You don't stay in school. Well, maybe to get a job later. Okay, so opposite. What's the opposite of stayed on?
Stay on. Left.
Yes, of course. Okay, very good.
Left is good to get jobs.
All right. Now, contrasting.
But must stay on.
There we go. Now that's it. Okay, some of my friends left school to get jobs, but most stayed on. Usually we say stay in school. Don't be a fool, stay in school. But we can also use this phrase stayed on. I stayed on late at work last night to finish the project, for example. Okay. Diego, where are you from again? Can you remind me?
I'm from Chile.
Chile. Okay. All right. In Chile, can you quit school when you're 16?
At 16, you go to school, secondary. It is you prepare for to I don't say.
Prepare. Most people stay on school to prepare for university.
Okay, yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay. In the United States, most people stay in high school or secondary school to prepare for university. But legally, by law, legally, you're allowed to quit school when you're 16 in the United States. You must, by law, go to school until you're 16. You have to. There's no choice.
Okay.
Okay. But what I was asking about in the United States, if you have your parents' permission, you can quit school when you're 16 and get a job. Not many people do that. Most people want to at least get their high school
Okay.
high school diploma. When you graduate, you get a diploma, but it is possible. Okay, let me welcome some others to the class. Hello, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you.
Nice to see you again. I'm going to come right back to you, Heidi, and talk to you in just a second after I welcome Stephen. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Stephen. Nice to see you again. It's been a while. Welcome back. Hello, Carlos.
Hello, Clint. How are you?
I'm good, Carlos. Nice to have you aboard again. Heidi, back to my point I was discussing with Diego. How about, I'm very curious, in Japan, what are the laws regarding school and how long do you have to be in school? Do you legally have to stay in school until a certain age?
Mandatory.
Mandatory.
6 years elementary school and junior high school 3 years, 9 years.
Okay, so that would make you about, how old would that make you? I can't do the math.
12, 15.
15. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
But most of the students will go to high school for 3 years. So
Right.
finally 18.
Right. And same in the United States. You know, I don't know, 98% or something. I don't know absolutely, but it's very high. Okay, I was curious about that. Okay, Heidi, can you continue from I wanted, filling the blanks?
I wanted to do sociology, but it wasn't possible at my school. So I got in to the local technical college.
Well, I don't think he got in quite yet.
Then applied.
Yeah, first. Probably applied. First, you have to apply and you have to be accepted, of course, to go to a college or university. Okay, very good. So, very good. All right, you're talking about your future plans. Now, this is kind of important. I want to do, and then whatever. I want to do economics. I want to do sociology abroad. Abroad. A broad, not topic, but okay, area of study. Right, you want to do that. Also, of course, we more likely say, I wanted to major in sociology. It's possible to use do to talk. When we use do, there's a slight difference here. Okay, I want to do sociology. That means eventually down the road, I want a job in sociology. There's a different kind of connotation. I want to major in sociology. That means that's what I want to study at university or in college. Slight difference in meaning there. Okay, Stephen, can you take over here from there were?
There were over 50 applicants for only 20 places. So I was really pleased when I got in.
Okay. Yeah, I got in. So he was accepted. So you could say I was accepted. Stephen, careful with pleased. Not pleased, but pleased.
Okay, pleased.
No extra syllable, no extra vowel sound. There. Okay. Now, I have to make another important point here. Talk to you a little bit about British versus American. The last line here. I really enjoyed the course. Yeah, okay. A little bit confusing because when Americans use the word a course, they're talking about one specific class, or really series of classes. I took a course in university in planetary geology. It had nothing to do with my communications major. I majored in communications, but I would never say, as an American, I would never say I enjoyed the communications course. I needed to take about 20 different courses. No, scratch that. 28 different courses. Different courses, individual courses in order to graduate with that degree. So this material I'm sharing with you is very British. Sometimes they use course to mean one particular class. Sometimes they mean it like he obviously got a degree in sociology. So he's saying that he enjoyed the course in sociology. Very confusing for Americans when British people say this. We don't know what they're talking about. It makes no sense. Because for Americans, each individual class or series of classes is a course. In addition, you can take a course in basket weaving at the local adult learning center. It does not have to be a college, university, public, private. It can be, you can take a course in French cooking in someone's home. Okay, so those would also be a course, one series of classes, in other words. So a little difference in how Brits and Americans interpret this word. Okay, now we're going to look at some nouns and continue a little fill in the blank to get familiar with these nouns. Carlos, can you take over?
Yes, I have wanted to be a doctor, but the entry requirements to study medicine at the university are very high.
Very good.
Continue?
Well, the sentence continues, so yeah, go for it.
And my exam results weren't good enough, so I got the diploma.
Doesn't. I don't have requirements here. Okay. So far you're perfect. Okay. All right. But entry requirements. That's the things like test scores and grades and whatever else you need to be accepted were very high. Okay. And my exam results weren't good enough. So I got the something. Okay, he got. Any idea?
The diploma?
No. Anybody else in class? Okay, the idea is he couldn't get in. Prospectus. Yes, very good. Thank you, Heidi. I got the prospectus. Okay, from my local. Okay, well, college. All right, to see, this is a long one, so I'll help. To see what alternatives there were. So he's checking out the local college. In other words, he got the prospectus. Now, prospectus basically is nothing more than an advertising brochure usually for a university. Prospectus will outline the courses with course descriptions, maybe introduce some of the professors. It's basically a good bit of advertising to try to get new students. That's basically what it is. It sounds like a fancy name, but that's basically all it is. Okay. So there we go. Okay. Diego, can you take over from In the End? Diego?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In the end, I got on track. Degree.
Not yet. I don't think.
I don't see alternative.
Okay. So he's checking out the prospective to try to get into the local school. Before he can graduate, he has to go to the school. So
diploma.
No, but that's what you get after you graduate. And here, first of all, I don't know if this is confusing you. It's very British. I got onto. Americans would never say that. Americans would say into. I got into a blank in business administration. Anybody else have an idea?
Course?
Yeah. You got into a course. Okay. So one big difference there, yeah, into a course. I got into a course. All right, again, course in business administration, same thing I just discussed earlier. This makes no sense and very confusing for Americans. Okay, one course would be one class. So, for example, an American would say, I got into a program or a degree program in business administration, for example. Instead of a course, but all right. Heidi from
Okay. I got a result, but I still sometimes wish I'd been able to go to university and get a diploma.
No.
Opposite.
No.
Result and diploma only two words.
Yeah, results was up here. My exam results weren't good enough.
Then degree.
Right.
Degree.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Okay, this is a little confusing as well. This, again, for me as an American, I got a diploma.
Diploma.
All right. But I wish I'd been able to go to university to get a degree. This is actually very confusing for me as well. Okay, if we read the notes here. FE, further education usually means going to a college to do a vocational course or degree. Higher education usually means doing a degree at a university. This is confusing because this does not apply to American education, so it's confusing for me as well. In America, it doesn't matter college, university, state college, private university, you get a diploma. A diploma means you graduated, whatever it is. You go to a vocational school, all right, maybe you learn how to do electrical work, or you learn how to work on cars, for example, and you graduate the course, you get a diploma. You might get a license. Actually, in the United States, you would also get a license. So you would be a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber, a licensed car mechanic. You would get a diploma and a license for a vocational school. If you went to university, if you go to Harvard, you're going to get a diploma, same, and you get a degree. A degree means you finish the entire program of studies to get a degree. You have to take, as I mentioned earlier, 28 courses or something like that in order to get a degree. So actually this little piece is confusing for me as well. It doesn't matter what it's confusing for me because it would not matter if you went to a school, a university to study medicine, or a college for business administration. In American secondary education, it's the same. You got a degree in business administration, you graduated, you got a diploma. You got a degree in medicine, you graduated, you got a diploma. There's no difference whatsoever. So that's why this last part does not make sense for me either at all. So it's again, there's a little difference, but how they look at it. And I know in some countries there's a difference between university and college. I guess that's the main point. In the United States, there is no difference. Some colleges have a better reputation than some universities, vice versa. Some universities have a better reputation than some colleges. In England, universities are more prestigious than colleges. This is not true in the United States, not at all. You know, okay, well, in fact, it can be quite the opposite. Harvard College, okay, Stanford University, college, university doesn't really matter for Americans. Okay. Hello, Anna. Welcome to the class.
Thank you, teacher. Hello.
Hello, hello. Okay, now we're going to talk about the painful process of paying for university. Unfortunately, higher education is insanely expensive. Stephen, can you start us out here using words from up above here to fill in the blanks?
Okay. Going to university is expensive. First, there's the tuition. Tuition grant?
Tuition what? Which word co-locates with tuition? No, not grant.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Tuition fees. Fees are the basic charge. Okay. The basic that costs this much. Tuition refers to the price of each class you take. The very basic fees. Okay. Fees are not extra add-on costs. They are the basic price. So when somebody uses the word fees in English, they're talking about the basic price, nothing extra. Okay. Carlos, can you take over?
Yes. Then there are all the books you need. Then, if you live away from home, you have to pay for your accommodation.
Certainly. Okay, that's right. Okay.
This is a British way to say accommodation.
That's perfect. Accommodation. Actually, Brits and Americans say it the same way.
Okay.
No, accommodation. Both Brits and Americans use this word. The place to live. It can be used as this definition, for sure. It makes perfect sense to me. Okay, accommodation, somewhere to live. Either your dormitory room where students, specifically students of the university, stay, or if you live off campus, you can rent an apartment, for example. Okay, Anna, can you take over from
The
here?
university halls of residence are not cheap. Then you are all you other living um, long?
No, you have to pay your tuition fees, and then you have to pay all your other things you have to pay. A loan is something that you get, money you get. This is money you pay. So they're saying, okay, first the tuition fees. It costs money to live in the dormitory, halls of residence.
Yeah.
In addition, here then is used to say in addition, you have to pay what? You have all your other living.
Maybe expensive.
Definitely expensive.
Expensive.
Okay, expenses. Other things you have to spend money on rather than the base price. A base price given to you always, not just university, is your fee. And then, okay, fine, yeah, or a fee is a charge. Expenses are extra things you have to pay for. If you run a business, you may have to buy paper for the office. You may have to buy some equipment. These things are expenses. Living expenses: food, water, basic things you need. You need to wear a hat in the winter. That's a living expense. Okay, these things. Okay, Diego, can you take over?
Okay. A few students get a grant, but might have to take out a loan from the bank.
Yeah,
Loan.
sure, and that's right. Which
Okay.
can take years to pay off. Okay, a few students get a grant, but most have to take out a student loan. Diego, in your country, are there grants available?
A few students get great. The last years, the crowd student protests from the very expensive education in Chile.
Okay. Okay. A grant is when an individual or corporation or a trust, a charitable organization, actually sometimes corporations, whoever, pays the student's tuition or a portion of the tuition. So, social groups like the Rotary Club, the Kiwis, the whatever, there lots of social clubs give grants. In the United States, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of potential grants. Some of them are extremely specific. This is a grant for for an extremely short height person with grades that are B's who is interested in geology. Every kind of crazy, very specific grant you can imagine in the United States. So if you really do your research and are very careful, you probably can get a grant. But it takes a lot of time and a lot of research and a lot of effort in the U.S. Now, this part, most students take a student loan from the bank. In the United States, nobody gets a student loan from the bank. That would be insane. The government, the federal government has federal loans that every single person qualifies for, and the interest rates are extremely low, 1 or 2%. There is an interest rate, but it's extremely low, or 0.5% or something like that. If everyone can get a national loan, then you would be crazy to get a loan from the bank and pay back 10%. That would be totally nuts. No one would do that. So pretty much, I've never heard of anyone doing that ever in the United States. The federal government guarantees student loans. So, Diego, are there guaranteed student loans in Chile, or would you actually have to borrow money from a bank?
The mass of the mass student should loan from the bank.
Really? That
Just
sucks.
so yes.
That stinks, man.
Yes, it's very expensive. If second country in the world, most expensive.
Really? Second most expensive country in the world.
Yes.
Really?
First England or United States, I don't know. But Chile is a poor country, and compare these countries. I don't know. Say.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. That stinks. Heidi, how about in Japan? Does the government have student loans?
No, only bank or something. And then a student
Really?
get loan, maybe parent.
Right, because the student has no credit history, the student has no collateral.
Still 18 years old, so still minor.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Really? Oh, I didn't realize. Okay. Although the university is very expensive in the United States, if you need to borrow money, you can borrow money. Very low interest rate. And it's given directly to the student, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So men need to work in some place and that part-time job.
Yeah, that's what I did too. When I went to school, I got grants that basically roughly 50% of my tuition was paid for by grants. And the other 50%, I got student loans, but I worked while I was in university. I managed to pay off my student loans really fast. Some people don't pay off their student loans until they're like 36, 38 years old. Especially students who go to like medical school or an 8-year school, become a doctor or a lawyer, law school, something like that. They're not paying off their loans for a long time. It may take 20 years. Okay. Most students have to do okay, I guess you just read it, a part-time job to survive. All right. Okay. Student life, university life. All right.
Here in Mexico, the universities, they lend the money to the students.
The university itself.
Yes.
Interesting.
They finance. Yes, the interest rate is very low.
But it's a direct loan from the university itself.
The major part of the university, they do that, but if the university is very expensive, you can have a grant for the 50% of the tuition.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, I've never heard that before. I've never heard that model before. It's interesting. I mean, it's like a car dealer. Some people who sell cars will actually do the financing through the car. You borrow the money from the car dealer to buy the car.
Yes, it's something like that.
Yeah, interesting. I've never heard of that before. Okay. All right. Interesting. Thanks for sharing that, actually. Stephen, we're going to use these words, or nouns, to fill in the blank for some sentences to talk about student life, basically university life. Okay? Go ahead. Please begin.
I've got 2 lectures this morning, and then I need to go to the library to do some background reading before tomorrow.
Yeah, that works for me. Okay. Sounds like you've been there, Stephen. You make it sound like it's very familiar to you. Okay. Carlos, number 2.
On Wednesday, I've got to give a short presentation at my English I don't see seminar.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a little weird for me as well. Yeah, okay. I guess. Okay, seminar a seminar is usually a very short course, short and concentrated course. Like, for example, at least as an American, a seminar is usually something like you go away for a weekend and you study, I don't know, management theory for a weekend. You have classes all day long, lunch break, dinner break, more classes in the evening. It includes lectures and workshops and group activities, and that's a seminar normally. So this is kind of weird for me. Must be a British thing. Okay. Anyway, Anna, number 3.
I can go to my history lecture on Thursday morning. I'll ask Jeff to pick up an extra copy of the let me see extra copy of the reading, and I can borrow. No?
Interestingly, possibly, but the reading would probably be in a handout.
Seminar?
No. Probably a handout. Okay.
Note.
I'll ask Jeff to pick up an extra copy of the handout.
Oh, handout,
So this is something each student gets. This is what the lecture's about, or the outline of the lecture, or whatever. Right. That would be a handout. Any materials. Well, basically, when you look at a verbling class, and there are worksheets or documents down below for you to download. Those are handouts for the class.
Handout.
That's what they are.
Handout. It's a new word for me. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anyway, and then, all right, pick up an extra copy of the handout, and
I can borrow his lecture. Lecture.
I can borrow your friend who's going to the lecture. You can borrow his lecture what?
Maybe I am not sure. Maybe tutor, no?
No, a tutor's a human being, so you can't borrow a human being. No, his notes. Of course, you're going to borrow his notes. If you can't make it to a lecture, of course you're going to borrow someone's notes, right? Okay. He's going to ask his friend to pick up an extra handout, probably the outline of the lecture, and then you're going to borrow his notes, copy his notes, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, Diego, number 4.
Okay. Professor Barnes is the only lecturer who gives handouts, and his reading really saved me a lot of time.
Yeah, right.
List.
Excellent. Yeah. American professors do this a lot. They give you a reading list. In other words, suggested reading material for you to study with. Instead of you have to go search and figure it out for yourself, they give you a list of recommended reading that is related to their lecture or whatever. This is quite common practice, at least when I went to university. Diego?
Okay, let's is
Common? Yeah.
A short lectures.
What's that?
Lex is a small lectures.
No. A list is literally a list. If you write a grocery list, you write bananas, milk, bread.
Okay.
Okay, that's a list. So sometimes professors, for example, our topic is the history of Greek art from the period 3000 BC to 2500 BC, including Euclid and the art of Athens. Then he will include a list of books.
Okay.
Ancient Greek art by Waldo Emerson. Okay, book number 2. Euclidean art forms. Okay, like that. An actual list of books you should read if you want to know more or you want to help. Okay, like that. That's what he's talking about. All right, Heidi, next.
Later in the week, I've got to see my tutor to decide what seminar I'm going to. No.
Sorry. Okay, you're going to see your tutor. Yeah, you're good so far. To decide what blank I'm going to do next blank.
What lecture?
Yeah, well, that would fit.
Or seminar?
Those would both fit, but a more broad term. What options? He needs to figure out what his options are. Maybe those include lectures, seminars, courses. Yeah, right.
What options? What option are doing next term?
Next term. Yeah, you're always got to plan your next courses next term. Each chunk of time, basically to take one course from start to finish the course, that's a term. Then you take a new course. So he's trying to figure out what his options are. Okay. Now, all right, again, here we go. American and British English. University teachers are called lecturers. Well, in America, they're called professors. In the UK, the heads of university departments and some very important academics are professors. In America, If they teach a university class, they're a professor. All right, well, there you go. In America, professor is a much more widely used term, indeed. If you teach a class in university or college, it's professor, and that's it. Okay. Here we have, okay, a lot of different subjects. We're going to try to figure out what the person who is a specialist in the subject is called, kind of using our suffixes from those who were in last class. Okay, we can often say he's studying engineering. All right, if someone's in university at the time trying to get a degree, or he already has, he's got a degree in engineering. This is very common, and this is common for Americans to express the idea. Okay, who is the person? So, word forms here. The one noun meaning the thing, the other noun meaning the person. So, for example, Stephen, somebody who specializes in physics, is what?
Is physicist?
Physicist. Correct. All right, we should be able to whip through this, I think. Go through this quickly. Carlos, philosophy?
Philosopher?
Indeed. Anna, psychology?
Psychology. Anybody help me, please?
Okay, anybody else? Psychology is your area of study?
Psychologist?
Psychologist. Okay, psychologist. Yeah, you could end up being a psychiatrist.
No?
Yeah, either one, actually. Psychologist or psychiatrist. What is the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist? Call me crazy, I don't know. I don't really know. I think one is more academic and one is more involved with actual treatment of people, but I'm not even sure myself. Okay, in any case, Diego, sociology.
Sociologist. Sociologist.
Sociologist. That's right.
Yes.
That's it.
Sociologist.
Heidi. That's it. Heidi, architecture.
Architect.
Of course, architect. Stephen, history.
History.
Historian. That's it.
Historian.
That's it. Very good. Okay. Carlos, mathematics.
Mathematician.
Very good. Chemistry, Anna.
Chemistry?
Yeah. I think you just said it. This is a little confusing. So somebody who specializes in chemistry, Anna, is a chemist. A chemist. Okay.
Chemist.
Alchemist. Yeah, very funny. Alchemist. Yeah, an alchemist.
I'm chemist, and even my husband is a chemist.
Are you? Okay. Well, this can be confusing because it's not confusing for an Americans because American a chemist, specialist in chemistry. It's not confusing at all. If you go to get medicine from a pharmacy, you talk to a pharmacist, somebody who specializes in medicine. In England, it's a little confusing because you don't go to a drugstore or a pharmacy, you go to a chemist's, and you talk to the chemist who specializes in medicine. But these are two completely different things for Americans. Chemistry, you're mixing together sulfuric acid and nitrogen and building a bomb. or something. But if you're dealing with medicine, then that's something else entirely. Okay. So, Diego, astronomy. Diego, are you there? Yeah.
Astronomists?
Astronomists. Yeah.
Astronomists.
That's it. Okay. Okay. Great. Heidi?
Not
Yeah.
astronomer.
Astronomer. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Astronomer. Actually, I think it can be either. Might have to check that. Interesting. Definitely astronomer. Astronomist. I think it can be. Yes, it can be either. Actually. Okay. Oh, and it has exactly the same meaning, so it could be either. Both answers are correct. Astronomer, astronomist. Okay, Heidi, engineering?
Engineer.
Of course. And normally, with broad-based things like engineering, of course, we're gonna add an adjective. He's a civil engineer. He's an avionics engineer. Okay. Because engineering is kind of broad. So some of these things we would add to make it more specific and understandable. We'd add an adjective to. Okay. Talking about your course, we got 5 minutes or so. Let's see if we can get through one more exercise using more words related to education. Stephen, number 1.
Okay, the academic year begins in September and runs to the end of June.
Yep, that's just like American academic year. How about for you, Stephen? When does the academic year run in your country?
In Costa Rica is March.
Starts in March?
Yes, and end of December.
Oh, really? No kidding. Okay. All right, that's interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Here, okay, in America, it's September to June, just basically like this. Actually, it starts sometimes end of August to the beginning of June would be a little closer in America, I think. Where I live in the Philippines now, it's June. It begins in June and ends in March. Okay. Next one, Carlos.
So, what are you doing this week? I'll probably be at home finishing the qualifications. I have to hand it in on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Finishing the qualifications. Okay, yeah, I guess so. All right. Might say the applications. I think an American would more likely say the applications, but same meaning. Anna, number 3. Hi, Anna. Where have you been? I haven't seen you for ages.
Hi, Mark. Where have you been? I haven't seen you for ages. Now I've been away doing a war. Specially?
No. It's got to be a noun. A work blank, so it's got to be a noun. Specialize is a verb, so that's not possible.
Tutorial in an insurance company for the last 4 months.
No, it would have to be a work placement program. Placement. He's placed in a work. He's placed in a job. Sorry. Okay. Another way to say this, a work placement program is an internship. All right. So he's been doing an internship, a work placement program. The school puts him in a job. He is placed in a job. And remember from last class, and suffixes ment. That's got to be a noun. Ah. Okay. Diego, how about number 4?
Okay. The more you have, okay. The more you have, the more chance you have to find it.
Well, here's a big clue in regards to English. The more, it's either got to be an uncountable noun or it's got to be a plural. So there's only one plural noun here. So just grammar-wise, there's only one possible choice. Okay, that means plural means it has an S. Okay, Diego, we're out of time, so I'm going to help you out. Qualifications you have, the better chance you have to get a job. Your qualifications include what does the job require for you to make you qualified? Certain amount of schooling, experience, whatever. Just from a grammatical point of view, the more the more pencils I have, the more I can write. It's going to be, it could be an uncountable noun, but it's
I understand. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. So I'm going to have to end the class here. But okay, Anna, you had a question about public universities?
Yes.
What was your question?
I would like to know that in the United States, are there public universities?
Yeah, of course there are. Every state, University of Wyoming, University of Texas, University of California has about 12 different campuses. Yeah, they're all public universities. However, you still have to pay to go to a public university in the United States. And the prices, see, there really is no difference, college, university. You can have more expensive, less expensive colleges, more expensive, less expensive universities. As far as reputation, there's some, I don't know what to tell you. There's some universities, very hot, good reputation, and then there's some, not really, and vice versa, colleges. So, again, in America, the idea of public and private when it comes to universities is pointless. You have to pay for any of them. There's no difference at all. It's a little less expensive to go to a public university in your home state. But it's less in your home state. It's cheaper to go to a university or a college, actually, either one. There's really no difference. There's just absolutely nothing to even consider as a difference. There's no difference at all. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. I've got to go.